Nope, I'm still not done rambling about this series yet. Let's talk about this now. So before I make a video on the Double Dragon DLC for River City Girls 2 that's still not out at the time of me making this video, let's take a look at this, the art of River City Girls, which is an art book. The reason why I'm calling this video a look instead of a critique of the art of River City Girls is because I actually really like this book. I'm a huge fan of art books in general, specifically art books about games, because not only can we get some really nice high quality scans of art from a particular game, but that also means we can look at like promotional art, concept art, completely unused character designs, and this book is full of that stuff. And the other reason I like this book so much is because it's made by a company that I actually like. Fangamer. Some of you probably know Fangamer, some of you probably don't, but they're basically a company that puts out a huge amount of game merchandise. Whether it be shirts, hoodies, plushes, CDs, vinyl, art books like this, physical releases of games. I am so glad that Torty Pizza chose Fangamer over Limited Run, and many, many more. They have put out so much merch for so many games over the past decade or so, and they do a damn good job at it, and this book is no exception. But before we crack this open, let's take a look at this amazing slipcover. Oh god, the glare! So yeah, I'm gonna try and film this video with the least amount of glare possible, but just take my word for it, I love this slipcover. The slipcover is obviously made out of some clear plastic, and you can see that the inside art is actually sort of seeping into the slipcover, which isn't that great, but at least the slipcover itself looks really, really nice. You've got some really good art of Misako, Kyoko, Pruvi, Marion, and Kunio and Riki on the cover. I know that these 4 pieces of art were made specifically for RCG1 and 2, but I don't know where this art of Misako and Kyoko came from. I'm not sure if this was specifically made for the art book itself, or they just found some unused RCG1 artwork to put on here, but yeah, it looks really, really nice. And just as the cover says, it includes art not only from River City Girls 1, but from River City Girls 0 and River City Girls 2, which we can see more clearly on the back, where we've got 3 photos that represent all 3 games in the trilogy, with Kunio and Riki getting kidnapped in River City Girls 1, a snapshot of the opening of River City Girls 0, and a photo of the Sabu family in River City Girls 2. And as it says here on the back, this has art from all 3 River City Girls games, including concept art, character illustrations, background images, manga pages, and even pixel sprites. As somebody who has a sort of love-hate relationship with this series, I absolutely love the art of all 3 of these games, specifically from the art styles of Rem for River City Girls 1 and 2, and David Liu for River City Girls 0. Both of them are fantastic artists in their own right, and their art styles fit perfectly for these games. And once we take the slipcover off, we can see that it's designed to look like a yearbook for River City High School. I absolutely love this. I really like the detail of the graduating classes being from 2019 to 2022, which was the sort of release windows for River City Girls 1 to 2. And then you can see on the back, it looks like the glare is actually like making this a little better. But yeah, you can see some art of Kyoko and Misako there, and it looks really nice. All right, now we can actually crack this thing open, and yeah, the cover pages look so cool. Here we got the art of River City Girls, collected works from River City Girls 1 and 2. The book opens up with a really nice introduction from Adam Tierney, where he basically talks about how the concept for River City Girls came to be and what's in the art book. And then when we flip to the table of contents, we can see that they're going all out for the yearbook aesthetic. It looks super, super cool. The contents of the book go from release order from River City Girls 1 to 0 to 2, and then some bonus material. And naturally, since this book is categorized in release order, we start off with River City Girls 1, the game that basically made me want to do videos like this in the first place. Aside from getting extra footage from my River City Girls 2 video, I haven't replayed this game in a long while, pretty much ever since I did my own footage for the River City Girls 1 video, and my opinions of the game since that video haven't really changed. I still think the game isn't really that great gameplay and story-wise, but I do absolutely love the art style for this game. This section of the book starts off with Rem's first color concept for River City Girls 1. Pretty funny because it's so good that it's used in both River City Girls 1 and 2. And then as we flip over, we get a whole 2-page spread of all of Kyoko's art, specifically for her story portraits. The character-specific pages throughout all of this book are really, really nice, giving us some info about the character and a quote from the character itself. And for the sort of cutscene portraits, not only do we get the full art of them, but also their alternate expressions. Followed by that are 2 pages about Misako, and then we get their shop portraits, which obviously show up whenever you go into a shop when you're playing as them in River City Girls 1 and 2. I absolutely still love these, by the way. Then we get to some more miscellaneous art and some concept sketches for them. And apparently this art is called Kyoko and Misako Photo Booth, which I can't remember from the top of my head where this art came from. Then we get this art, which wasn't used in River City Girls 1, but was used in the game over screen for River City Girls 2. Then we get the loading screen art from RCG 1 and 2, and then here's some early sketches. Also, as much as I don't like a lot of the game design decisions in River City Girls 1, the stomp attack being critical from the start was a really, really good decision. Then we move on to Kunio and Riki with their very few appearances from River City Girls 1. And then after that, we move on to Hasabe and Mami, who I still think should have been playable characters in either of the games, but whatever. Then we move on to the art of the bosses. I actually really like almost all of the bosses from River City Girls 1, with the exceptions being her and her. But bosses like Misuzu, Yamada, Abobo, and especially Sabako are really, really well designed. Definitely better designed than most of the bosses from 2. Then we move on to the NPCs, starting off with everyone's favorite YouTuber bait, Godai. Then we get Kaori, Hiroshi, Yoko, Mihoko, and this dude, we obviously know that it's Kenji, and also it's really funny that his hair specifically in this book is a different color for some reason. His hair is supposed to be purple, not green. Next up is Naritako, one of the honestly most pointless characters from River City Girls 1. And then we move on to the best cameo in 1, Skullmageddon, and some Almaz gold art for some reason. As we see later on in this book, he'll only appear in shops in 1 and 2, but yeah, maybe this art was a sign of him having a more significant appearance in 1. Who knows? Then we move on to Barnov with it in his fancy-ass suit, and the concierge, who is actually given a name in River City Girls 1, but I completely forgot it. Then we move on to the chef, who actually has his own side quest in River City Girls 1, but it's so insignificant, even more so than Kozuki in 2. Then there's the Yakuza henchman, and some unused character designs, including one of them which was supposed to be Kenji, apparently. Also, I think it's funny that the book mentions that these designs are shown for the first time in this book, even though you can unlock this concept art in River City Girls 2 in the Snapper app. Then we move on to the enemy art, and yeah, I do really like some of the enemy designs in this game. Like I said in my River City Girls 1 video, I feel like half of them fit the game really well and half of them don't. Then we move on to all of the color variants for all of the enemies. Much like in River City Girls 1, you can recruit all of the enemy types if you want, but it isn't required for 100% completion. Then we move on to the shop art, starting with the restaurants, and then we move on to the actual shops. This art of Skullmageddon is fantastic, by the way. Then we move on to the apparel shops where you can get stuff like accessories. And I think it's really funny that the book mentions that people went so feral for this design of Marion. And I mean, like, yeah, look at her! That is a fucking mug! Then we move on to the convenience store art, and also a little section about the secret shop from River City Ransom that returns in River City Girls 1 and 2. Then we move on to the dojos, and hey look, it's the Double Grump brothers, Aaron Lee and Danny Lee! Oh yeah, and also some art about the sauna. Then we move on to the art, which pretty much has all of the food, items, accessories, and stuff. And then we move on to one of the best parts of this book, the pixel art, which includes some really interesting design concepts for River City Girls 1, and also some really early idle sprites for the 4 playable characters. Then we move on to one of my favorite aspects of this entire book, the sprite sheets. It is so cool to see this amazing sprite art laid out like this. As I've mentioned before, KU was an absolutely fantastic choice for the pixel art of this game. They fit so nicely with Rem's hand-drawn art style. This obviously doesn't include every single sprite for every character, otherwise this book would be twice as big, but it is still really cool that it gives you a sort of sampler of how much work was put into the pixel art for this game. And we don't just get the playable characters too, we also get the bosses, but also the NPCs and some enemy sprites. And then we move on to the backgrounds, which, yeah, no, the backgrounds for River City Girls 1 and 2 are absolutely perfect. Almost every single background in both River City Girls 1 and 2 have so much detail. I mean, look at this! And the reason why the backgrounds look so nice is that according to this book, no tile sets were used in this game. Instead, they drew every single location as a massive background piece and went from there, to make River City in this game feel a lot more natural, and they were right. It looks so good. The details for the backgrounds especially shine in places like Uptown and Downtown. Like, look at this! It's so good! Even the more grittier places like certain parts of downtown still look really nice. Ocean Heights also just looks absolutely beautiful, and Samakai Tower also just looks extremely good. Huge respect to the background artists for making every single area in this game super unique. Another one of my favorite parts of this book are the storyboards. As it states here in the book, these are basically like anime production storyboards. And we don't just get the storyboard for the intro, we also get it for all the boss cutscenes. And as I said in my River City Girls videos, the boss cutscenes in this game are absolutely beautiful. And it's a shame that they got severely downgraded in River City Girls 2. I also really like the detail of Hasabe and Mami basically calling the players losers with their hand gestures. And then after this page of the cell phones, we get this, the manga pages. The manga pages in this game and also River City Girls 2 are absolutely beautiful, because Rem is not only just a character artist, they're also a manga artist, and it really shines with the manga cutscenes. It even has both versions of the ending manga cutscene, and then after that we get into the miscellaneous stuff, for things like the cover art, the logo, and also the designs for all of the kid versions of the main characters, which is really interesting. There's also the really nice promo art they did for holidays like Valentine's Day and Halloween, the small little post-credit scenes from River City Girls 1, designs for the pins that fan Fangamer put out a while ago, and then we get to see some design model sheets for the action figures. And you might be asking, what? Action figures? Where can I get these? These are really cool. Well, you could only get these through action figure sets from Limited Run, and you can't get them anywhere else. Then we move on to the art made for the Fangamer merch, like the shirts and the poster. I actually have this shirt, by the way. It's really cool. Then we get some concept sketches for the Kyoko and Masako plushes. Then we get some manual pages for, I think was used for the manual for the limited run release of River City Girls 1. Since pretty much all of the Fangamer merch isn't really being produced anymore, it's really cool that it's still being preserved in this book. Then lastly, we get the cosplay guides and also the puberty slides from the beginning of the game. And in between each section, we also get these autograph pages, which I will hopefully fill out someday. Next up, River City Girls 0, baby, yeah! The art specifically made for River City Girls 0 is absolutely phenomenal. Again, David Liu, if you're watching this video, you're the man. You're the absolute man. I absolutely love how they decided to go for an early 90s anime aesthetic, since Kunio-tachi no Banka was released around that time, and David Liu, as he is known to do, did an absolutely amazing job. He understood the assignment really well. We even get some full designs of Ken and Sabu. I don't really know why it's black here, even though it should be white like in the actual game. We even get a model sheet of Yamada, who, by the way, actually does appear in the opening. He gets his face hilariously kicked in by Kyoko. Then we move on to the promo art made for it, which is obviously based on the Kunio-tachi no Banka box art. We also get art for the poster that was included with the collector's edition, and also the art specifically made for the teaser trailer for River City Girls 0. And then some more really nice art with the Japanese title of River City Girls 0 on here. We also get all of the backgrounds for the opening, and yeah, these are like absolutely amazing. I absolutely can't overstate enough how much of a good decision it was for David Liu and Future Club to be working on this intro. And just like with River City Girls 1 and 2, 0 also had its own manga pages, only like 2 of them. Then we get the model sheet for the action figures that were included in the collector's edition, which, yeah, they look lazy as shit. And then, of course, we get some screen caps from the intro itself, and like I said, my River City Girls 0 video is absolutely amazing. If I ever get the chance to go to a convention one day, I am absolutely getting David Liu to sign here. Like he deserves all of the credit in the world. And then finally, we move on to River City Girls 2, the game that completely broke my spirit, starting us off right off the bat with the portraits for Marion and Pruvi, as well as the full art for the teaser of them appearing in River City Girls 2, which is really, really cool, as well as their shop portraits. I absolutely love this sort of chibi Marion here. We even get the title screen and selfie art for Kyoko and Masako. Then we move on to the story portraits and shop portraits for Kunio and Ariki. Man, I really wish they were used better. Then we get all of their Sana portraits, which I think is pretty funny that they dedicated just 2 pages to this. And then we move on to the bosses. I've already talked about in my RCG2 video how I don't like most of the bosses in this game, especially these assholes, but I still do like a lot of their designs, specifically with Primo, Blair, Ken, and Sabu. We even get the full tattoo art for Ken and Sabu, and yeah, as the book states, Rem's attention to detail is immaculate. We do also get the art for the new NPCs like Kuniko, Enoki, Miss Megumi, Crash, Kozuki, this fucking thing, Sunny Lee, the man who deserved better, and Sao Tome. Again, I'm sorry, Rem, but I still really hate this fucking redesign. Then, of course, we get the Yakuza Baller and Shimizu, and also the Abobo recolors in the form of Mibobo and Jack. We also get the best character in this game, Kyoko's mom, Sonokawa, the second best character in this game, Mr. K, Williams, Matt McMuscles, Alpha Rad, Mami and Hasebe for some reason, Thumby, the third best character in this game, and then we also get the summer portraits of Yamada, Kaori, Misuzu, and also Godai 2.0, which I really wish was an actual boss. We do also get the portraits of all the hired henchmen like Berserker, Chris, Wes, Paul, as well as all the special cameos like Soul, Jam, and Kibako. We do also get all of the color variants for all of the enemies in this game, which, yeah, these are required for 100%, but regardless, it is still really cool that all of them are in here. And then, of course, we get all of the new shop portraits, including the concierge, who actually has his own name now, Leopold, as well as Goda, who goes completely unused, which sucks because I really like Goda as a character and I wish he was in these games. And then, of course, it continues with Roxy, Naritake, and another unused one, Onitake. It seems like at least one of the different types of shop portraits go completely unused, like Onitake here, and also here with Chad. It is pretty interesting that they just go completely unused, though I am really glad that Patricia Wagon never went unused, and also Rem and KU's OCs. And then after we look at the spas, we also get all the selfie locations, and then after that, we get all of the new food and accessories made specifically for it. And also, look at this! It's all of the emblems! I did mention in my RCG2 video that it seems weird that they didn't design any of the emblems for Sabu's disciples, but no, here they are! Why didn't they use them? We do also get all of the UI elements, which is really cool to see, which is kind of weird that it isn't really in the River City Girls 1 section, but whatever. And hey, look, they also made unique art specifically for the Mr. K side quest, which, as far to my knowledge, also goes completely unused. We do also get all of the achievement icons specifically for River City Girls 2. And then after that, we get some more sprite samples for Mary and Pruvy, all of the new bosses and the new NPCs and the new enemies, and also the helicopter. And then we get all of the new backgrounds made for River City Girls 2, like the new parts of Crosstown, Kyoko's house. Again, the background artists did an absolutely fantastic job with these. And of course, this also includes the stuff from Flatirons and the new stuff from Motion Heights. It is kind of repetitive to go through all the same areas, but the new areas that we got are fantastic, especially for River City High. And then after this, we get the manga pages for RCG2, and yeah, these are still fantastic. The manga cutscenes in this game are a lot better than ones in my opinion, not only because they look nicer, but they also feel a lot less cramped compared to River City Girls 1's. But then after we go through the cell phone art for all the characters, we get into the more miscellaneous stuff, like this really nice photo art of the Sabu family, which was apparently made as the first piece for River City Girls 2. Then we get to the cover art and the alternative cover art, and then we get to the blank tarot card art specifically made for the Blair boss fight. And it is really funny that 4 out of all of the tarot cards got reused in that fight, but it's still really cool that they just drew all of them anyway. Then we get to the sticker art, which to my knowledge was only used for the transitions in the mini games, which is kind of a shame because they all look really cool. Then we get to the logo, the battle text, and also the logo made for the transitions in Primo's boss fight, which is still genius. Then we get to the promo art made for stuff like Christmas and Halloween. I would not want to ask a Bobo what I want for Christmas. And that leads us to the end of the section for River City Girls 2, which leads us into just even more concept art, like how Hibari was going to look more like a spider, as well as some concept art for Noise, Abobo, Misuzu, Kunio and Ariki, and Godai, as well as this really nice concept art for Sabako, which I really wish was used in the final games in one way or another. We also get some concept sketches for the box art of River City Girls 1 and 2, concept art for Blair, and also the sketches for the animated boss cutscenes for River City Girls 2, as well as a ton of concept sketches for the sprites, which are really cool to see here. Some more sprite sketches, and also this piece of art, which was apparently used as a sort of sequel that WayForward pitched called River City Nightmares. I know that Yamada is already a boss fight in River City Girls 1, but in my opinion, he gets way too underutilized. And then after this, we get a section dedicated to the manga pages, specifically the versions of the manga pages that you can actually read. It's so cool to see all of these with actual dialogue because, one, I do think that the manga cutscenes do a really good job of letting you follow the story, but they're also just really nicely structured manga pages in general. This honestly really makes me want to read Rem's manga known as Devil's Candy, because with how good the manga cutscenes in these games are, I can only imagine how great Rem's solo work is. And then at the very end of the book, we get all of the credits for all of the art made for all of these games. Huge shout out to everyone in here. I'm obviously not going to name all of them, but yeah, you guys did an absolutely fantastic job on the art for these games. And then of course we get the credits for the staff of the companies that made this book possible, like WayForward, Fangamer, EU, and Arc System Works. And that's it. That's the art of River City Girls. If you're a fan of the River City Girls series, or just really like art books in general, I would say go get this right now. If you were able to get this book on this first run, you would also be able to get a card with multiple signatures from multiple people who worked on this game, including Adam Tierney, Ben Rudis, KU, and I think David Liu, and just a ton of other staff. I really wish I would have gotten that, but unfortunately I was a little bit too short on money to get this on the first run, but I was able to get it on the second run. But even without that card, it is still a fantastic art book, and I hope that you enjoyed me going through and talking about this book. By the way, I want to thank everyone who watched and liked the River City Girls 2 video. It was so shocking to see that video do so well despite the other 2 videos not really getting anywhere. I don't know if I just got super lucky or if the anticipation for that video just made it blow up as it did, but either way, thank you all so much. As I said at the start, I will be making a follow-up video to River City Girls 2 that includes stuff about the Double Dragon DLC, so subscribe if you want to see that. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching this video and all of my other River City Girls videos, and check them out if you haven't, and I will see you all pretty soon. See ya! Is not required for 100% completion in River City Girls 1, but it is... Oh my god. Hi, cat. Hello.